Gamergate has returned.
Oh my God, Gamergate returns. Every time a journalist gets pissed about something, it's Gamergate.
Anything to do with video games, anything to do with gamer culture, for some reason it gets tied back to Gamergate. Now they're taking the Nick Merckx Call of Duty situation, which I'll explain very briefly before we get into it any further. So for those of you who haven't been following, there is a boycott. Call of Duty is being boycotted because a very prominent streamer, Nick Merckx from FaZe Clan, made a very innocuous comment on Twitter regarding California and said, hey, leave little children alone. Basically, whatever, just leave the kids out of it, whatever. Well, that escalated. People on Twitter got him canceled. They pulled his skin from the game, and he explained that he doesn't hate LGBTQ people. He just was like, leave kids out of it. So then that set off a domino effect, and then we had other streamers like Dr. Disrespect saying that he was going to ban Call of Duty. He wasn't going to play it anymore. He uninstalled it. We had, I think it's Tim the Tatman, say that he wanted our uninstalling Call of Duty, and there's even concern that, the game's going to take a massive hit now because of it. But of course,
there's a lot of reasons for that game, Activision Blizzard to take hits. That's just, one of many. So.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is the same company that had the Cosby Suite, so they're not exactly the moral authority.
Say people did the Blizzard shirt that the letters look like it was a pride flag and it's spelled out liar.
Yeah. So anyway, Rolling Stone never misses a beat.
Rolling Stone, of course.
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone.
Stick to music, Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone puts out an article tying this situation to Gamergate from 10 years ago.
Rolling Stone has done this before.
Good thing you mentioned that. I pulled up another article. This is coming from, let's see, January. They fought for diversity in gaming, and then the abuse began.
That's not what happened. Like, here's the thing. Like, what they keep spinning it as and what actually happened are two different things. Now, we weren't around during Gamergate, contrary to the list that keep listing us on that saying that we were part of Gamergate and our channel was part of Gamergate. We weren't there then. But that being said, what it is and what they keep saying it is two different things. It's like Fat Princess. What started out was like one size, and they keep rolling everything into it, making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and trying to encompass so much more than it actually was.
Yes.
Because that's their fucking excuse for everything.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about this. This is just getting ridiculous. But of course, so many of these digital media get, so they're going to bring in any controversy.
How many have gotten canceled, shut down, fired, laid off so far? A lot.
17,000 layoffs in media this year. It's a record. It's a record.
What gets me is when everything. Now, look, you don't have to agree with that person. That's fine. That's their opinion on the subject. You don't have to agree. The new Wizarding World game, Hogwarts Legacy. A bunch of people on Twitter tried to get people canceled around that game, including several women. Their jobs because these people were bullying, harassing them. How is that any different than what you're making accusations of Gamergate? Oh, because it's your opinion and it's what you believe. So then it's you're on the right and they're bad. No, see, this is not how this works.
I don't even think it's their opinion. I think it's something that's been perpetuated by the media to get clicks, to get people angry.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying the people that the small about how it's about diversity and more females in gaming and shit like that. Y'all went on there and acted like a bunch of fucking squeakers, telling them to go kill themselves and everything else, and saying like they F their mom and stuff like that because you're mad that they're supporting a game that you don't like. Meanwhile, some of the people were diverse groups of people, and you chase them off the internet. So you're wanting to shield people of a certain persuasion, women, diversity, minority groups, whatever, only applies when they do what you want. And then when they don't do what you want, you're just as fucking bad as the people you yell Gamergate at all the damn time. Gamergate. It's like, you know what? Don't even. Hypocrisy's a thing. You personify it. Shut up, bitch, and knock it off. Sorry.
All right, so let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We do cover gaming news, and I've covered this in a couple of videos about the links that these media outlets are going. Being Gamergate 2.0, it was the closest thing they had to another Gamergate. And again, this is not, I don't think, really about how these journalists feel. I'm sure that they do feel strongly about this.
No, I think it is how they feel a lot of the times because they got themselves the seats. There's a bunch of activists who now claim they're journalists who went to these sites that have been around for years, reputable sites that have been around for years, got themselves a warm seat, and then elevated it to a podium that they can, basically spit at and scream at everybody who they think are beneath them, to try to make, try to bully them into agreeing with them into submission. And it's biting them in the ass because people are like, at first they're like, I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want to be. Now they're just like, you know what? Screw you. Yeah. You're full of shit. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Well, and that's what's going on. A lot of people, a lot of gamers in particular, walking away from websites that are constantly beating the Gamergate drum, constantly beating the misogyny drum. And you can see the decline in views. A lot of these sites getting shut down, sold off, consolidated, gutted, because they've destroyed themselves. So let's talk about this. This is coming from Rolling Stone.
I'm sorry I drug it out so long.
That's okay.
I have not been on any of these videos prior, so I had thoughts.
So the outrage is fresh. Speaking of outrage, this is the headline. Outrage over Call of Duty LGBTQ pride brings us full circle to Gamergate. That is word salad for SEO.
Also, yeah, it is. Also, again, what they have this opinion, this idea that if they say it's this way, that nobody else who identifies that way could possibly be part of it. Like people who might be boycotting Call of Duty could be LGBTQ people.
I'm sure they are.
And they just immediately they yell about people marginalizing these groups of people and how wrong it is. As they continue to marginalize the groups of people because they step over those who disagree with them. Like they don't even exist. Like if you identify this way, you have to agree with us because we're your shield. It's like, no, they're your shield.
So let's see, it starts with almost a decade ago, video game culture helped give rise to the anti-woke movement that continues to plague us today.
Yes, almost a decade ago. Let it go. It's been over. Just
let it go. Let it go. Yeah, so I went over this. You can go out and check for yourself. It's Nick Mercs, and he had a new operator skin and bundle, and he responded to this post on Twitter that had video of the pride kerfuffle. I don't know what I can call it on YouTube.
There were pro and anti-protesters on celebratory at the school board level.
Yeah,
that's across the district, elementary through high school. That was the issue.
Yeah. So all Nick Mercs said was they should leave little children alone. That's like
little kids, elementary.
That's the real issue. And then he had to explain himself, but he said he won't apologize. He said he refuses to apologize.
Don't, dude. It's no way. It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, because he said that it's like, look, I'm not anti-LGBTQ, but he's like, in this particular case, I think they need to leave the little kids out of the discussion. And that's it. I said what I said. And he's not taking it back. So, of course, they pulled his skin because how dare he? Now, I don't think Activision did it themselves of their own volition. I think what happened was people on Twitter, hey, Activision, do you know a bigot? You're sponsoring a bigot.
But here's the problem. They kowtowed those people. Now, every time Activision tries to post anything, especially related to Call of Duty, it gets like, I hate using that term, but you did to a small group of people. Same with like Limited Run Games, who fired their one person over the fact that one person on Twitter dug through 5 or 6 years of tweets to find one thing they didn't like to get them canceled. And they went along with it. When you give them this, you're like so afraid of looking bad, losing customers. You're going to lose far fewer customers by just like stepping over the screamers and just keep going than you are caving to certain people that are making demands like this over something like that, like a comment. People are going to get pissed.
Now, I have seen celebrities make comments about like January 6th and make comments to the effect of like those people should be hanged or for treason or whatever.
Well, that's okay.
And that's totally fine. That's okay. But you can't say, hey, leave kids out of the discussion. Little kids out. Not even kids. Leave little kids out of the discussion. So Activision did not immediately respond to Rolling Stone's request for comment as to whether or not the decision to cut ties with Nick Rolling Stone because you're dredging up Gamergate, and they're probably like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is not something
what they should have done was not respond to anybody to begin with and just pretend like it didn't happen and kept moving on. Because, so what? He's allowed to make that comment on his own account. If people don't want to use the skins anymore, if they don't want to play, that game anymore, that's their choice. You just put a spotlight on, I'd say a target. You targeted yourself.
So here we go. Here comes the salt. The same right-wingers who have recently the outrage machine to retaliate with gamers announcing their intent to quit Call of Duty forever. Now, Here's the thing. And we haven't touched the Bud Light thing. We haven't touched the Target thing. We talk a hell of a lot about it.
I don't know about the Chick-fil-A thing.
Apparently, they hired some diversity and inclusion officer or something, which actually makes a lot of sense if you've seen their recent commercials. It tracks because it seems like they're, you know, and I think
why can't I just go get a chicken sandwich? Why do I need to know how everybody identifies at your place of work? I don't fucking care. You better tell me what each chicken sandwich is, what kind of chicken it is, and how that chicken identified.
I need to know that chicken's pronouns.
Right, before I can eat that sandwich.
I don't want to hate chicken.
Well, I don't even want to eat chicken that, you know, I might want to eat a chicken that, you know, is a rooster and I didn't know. You know, I need to know.
You know, I just, yeah, I mean, if I'm eating cock, I want to know.
Right. I
right?
mean, that's what I'm saying. I gotta know
you gotta tell
all
me
those chickens' pronouns. No, this is a stupid, like, I go to Chick-fil-A to get food. I don't really care. If you want to hire more diverse people that work there, I have no problem with that. I actually have zero problem with diversity and inclusion when it's done because, you know, people just need a job and they are qualified for a job and you gave them the job. I don't need to know all that to buy a chicken sandwich.
So what they're trying to shake the stigma of the supposed anti-gay stance of Chick-fil-A because Christians own Chick-fil-A. That's my take on it. Anyway, the Bud Light thing, that actually, they're freaking out because that actually did work. Apparently Bud Light lost like 30% in the last quarter and they got overtaken by Modelo, which I don't understand because I can't stand that song. I hear it all the time. Yeah, Modelo. So they got overtaken by them, I guess.
But actually, Modelo looks better to me than Bud Light anyway. I don't drink beer, so I don't know.
I don't drink beer out of a can. I am a beer snob. I don't drink.
They have bottles of Modelo.
They do. No. I'm saying I only drink bottled beer or beer from the tap. I don't drink canned beer.
I don't drink beer just because I think it tastes like shit.
Not good beer. Good beer tastes like a higher caliber of shit.
Yeah, but like I hate that.
Really,
okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I don't
beer, not a fan.
I don't drink. You can vouch. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink a lot of beer.
No, that's random. Okay.
So Geeky has to be like, you know, well, I drink my beers. Yeah, but I'm kind of a snob.
I've only ever seen you drink beer like 2 or 3 times. Anyway.
I do. I used to hang out like I was a proto hipster. I'm not proud of it. I had a stupid hat. I used to go to microbreweries. I was. Anyway.
It's okay. He met me and I slapped it out of him. It's all good.
She slapped that hat right off me. She's like, don't wear that hat. Wear a man's hat.
No, I didn't. Actually, my family
don't wear that.
My family kept making fun of your hat, and that's why you stopped wearing
stupid
it.
caddy hat. They're like, why the hell?
Called it a duffer hat. Why are you wearing a golfer's duffer hat?
It's a caddy hat.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, let's talk about this. So, look, the threat is real. The threat is real that if enough people get patients, we're seeing it with Disney right now. And look, we were covering Disney, all the Disney problems before the right-wing outrage machine or whatever the hell they're calling it on Rolling Stone. Basically, consumers are getting tired of it.
But wait, I don't understand this. They keep calling it the right-wing outrage machine as the media keeps trying to make a left-wing outrage machine the whole time, and they actually make it worse. Yeah. You know what I mean? Potato at this point in time.
Well, I notice that they always do this too on Rolling Stone. They always try to name check people. Tim the Tatman, real name Timothy Bitar.
So wait, they're trying to wait. Was it so they're pieces of shit?
Yes.
So Rolling Stone is okay with putting people's real names out to harass them.
Yes.
That's tracks. It's Rolling Stone.
Yeah, but they used to be about music. They used to be about like, hey, let's...
We pointed out before on Twitter, if you go out to their tweets, for example, they're supposed to claim millions of followers on Twitter, yet every time they put an article up, they get very, very few likes, which tells me that their followers are fake. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, this is what they're pissed about because Nick Merckx, his real name's Kulcheff, was a friend. He therefore wanted his own product removed. So this is, Tim the Tatman wanted his product removed in solidarity, a request that Activision granted. His post received more than 250,000 likes and thousands of supportive comments. So again, the threat of this having a major financial repercussion on Activision is very, very real. And you've got Dr. Disrespect, who's one of the largest game streamers out there, publicly uninstalling Call of Duty and saying he's never going to play it again until they reinstate this guy's skin.
Well, here's what gets me. Call of Duty, a lot of people tend to be, of a certain, they said this lean certain ways. They're mostly normal people, like, play the military games, that kind of stuff. The military that you hate.
Yeah, right.
So the audience tends to lean a certain way. It's going to tend to lean more right. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Okay, that's the way the audience is going to lean.
Yes.
Except for the squeakers who, balls haven't dropped yet and they're on there telling everybody to go fuck their mom. Anyway, they tend to lean right. What did you expect was going to happen when a literal small group of people had a hissy over a comment on Twitter? What did you expect was going to happen when you did this to your game? You don't have much goodwill anyway. Call of Duty was one of the things you did have goodwill on over that stuff. So they're already pissed at you for your own incompetence. So you have another group who isn't yet, and you thought you needed a bigger challenge?
It's like, honestly, at that point, I would have pulled them to the side and said, hey, just FYI, whatever. But they had to publicly
from the same people that you're pandering to now.
Yes, these same people tried to destroy your company because now the word. Look, I totally believe there's some bullshit going on at Blizzard and Activision. I totally believe it, but. It's also come out that...
it was blown out of proportion.
It was blown out of proportion, and they believe it was blown out of proportion because they wanted activists to infect the company, basically, and take over.
You mean like when someone posts a tweet and then a bunch of far-left news outlets run around calling it Gamergate and blowing it way out of proportion to try to get hits and to try to get their way about the way those other people they don't like? You mean like that?
Okay, so... They take issue with the game being violent and military, right? But here we go, guys. They have a bunch of people's tweets in the article.
They're mad about the game being violent and military.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah, it's a violent video game glorifying war.
Well, then why do you care? Then why? If you hate that game because it's a violent game that glorifies war and you hate it because you're anti-police and military, obviously, Rolling Stone. I can't wait till you're in trouble and you have to call them. You're going to sit here and write a whole article trying to cause trouble and everything else for something that you don't like or care about anyway.
Yeah. Well, because this is about owning the chud. So
it's not about owning chuds. It's about trying to get clicks.
Well, yeah, but they're also trying to name check all of the people.
Choke them out, guys. Don't go to Rolling Stone.
Yeah, all the people. Well, I think that's going to happen because actually their company is running out of money too. That's a whole nother thing. But they put Tim Pool, Libs of paragraph that gets me. This freaking out, the popular shoot 'em up entertainment game has somehow been breached by liberal attitudes of acceptance is also a revealing throwback to the troll movement that opened the floodgates to such crusades almost a decade ago.
It didn't.
They keep doing this. In 2014 and 2015, male gamers waged relentless misogynistic harassment of women in the industry, using the excuse of a trumped-up media scandal to vent their fury at what they saw as progressive and feminist values in games.
Trumped-up media scandal. Over the course of the last 10 years, the media outlets like Rolling Stone have done nothing but prove that the media will definitely try to cause scandals and try to find crap when there isn't any just to get views. So at this point, you cannot argue it's a trumped up media scandal because you all have proven yourself that you sure as hell do trump up media scandals and lies to get clicks. You can't use that argument now.
Targets were doxxed and threatened with rape and violence.
You mean like writing the guy's name on this article so people can go harass them?
They went out of their way to find out who Libs of TikTok, not Rolling Stone, but somebody else.
There were a bunch of women who were calling these journalists out. They were gaming journalists that were women that were
anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. There are people. Well, okay, so here's the thing. And this is a whole issue too, because it's like, okay, there's this extremely anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, but I literally saw an article calling Dave Rubin an anti-LGBTQ hate monger. Mm-hmm. He hated gay people. He hated trans people. He hated. Dave Rubin's gay. He posts pictures of him and his husband and their babies coming, and he's openly gay.
That doesn't matter.
It's a little weird. It's the narrative.
It's narrative. And that's what gets me. It's all a bunch of all this anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. You know what? Here's the thing. A lot of times what starts this whole thing is because a couple people, usually people don't identify that way, they're the allies. A couple Karens, we'll say Beckys, a couple Beckys on Twitter, get their panties in a bunch, go and try to start some kind of crusade. Ends up being this big thing and people, shut down, trying to shut them down, sit down, shut up, Becky, whatever. And, and people take it in blood of proportion. If the media would not do that, it wouldn't be an issue. And what you're doing is you're creating people's animosity because people are being told by you that the cause of the problems is all these LGBTQ people, even if it's not the case. So then they might get an unconscious bias against people over that. You're doing a self-fulfilling prophecy by you're creating bigotry and hatred that you claim you don't want. You're out there deliberately trying to create it.
So my hot take. This is my hot take. My hot take is there are outside forces that want us to hate each other.
Yeah.
But that is a whole nother rabbit hole I am not going to go down, and I'm certainly not going to go down that rabbit hole on YouTube. But I do believe that a lot of this is manufactured strife to get us to weaken as a country. So outside forces could very easily just rip us apart. That is my personal opinion.
I just think it's just people wanting clicks, and they're just dumb.
Well, yeah.
And
that's it. The dumb people are the ones who are most susceptible to the
farm seats of places they didn't build, which are now tearing those places down, and they're closing because people are so tired of it. And where it worked initially because you don't want to be seen as the bad guy. People are just they're immune to the whole you're an istophobe, and they can see through this shit where they're like, okay, well. But then there's a few people on Twitter who just spent literally all day on Twitter. Like the one person that was
gays against groomers.
Gays, yes, he followed gays against groomers, yes. Which there's a lot of people who are against. There's a lot of things that they're against, okay, and they happen to be gay. But you step over those people, they're a hate group too. They're all even though they're gay, they're istophobes too, because it's all convenient narrative. Anyway. Somebody was stalking these stock celebrities' Twitters to see if they do one miss.
Aren't we over this? Elon Musk owns Twitter now. Elon Musk has reinstated accounts that these people have gotten canceled. Why are you still on Twitter using Twitter trying to get people canceled when you're literally lining his pockets? That's what I don't understand.
And all it did was it sent people off. They're mad that they're going to go out and attack people because they identify a certain way. Yeah,
unfortunately.
And that's unfortunately what the result is going to be. And I mean, I do not condone that ever. I mean, don't ever just attack somebody based on how they identify. That's, unless they're harassing you first and you have good grounds.
Gonna fucking starve. Here's how they wrap it up.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. Because that worked so great for Hogwarts Legacy.
Let me read this. Anti-LGBTQ activists know this is a fight they can't win, except as a small and seething political class.
But they've won. Hogwarts Legacy broke records, and you guys, people like Rolling Stone made it huge because they went and did this shit.
Bud Light dropped 30%.
Yeah, no, you guys can't win because this one author, Rolling Stone, says you can't. Okay.
So anyway, they're seething and they're trying to oppress and intimidate the larger, more tolerant whole of the country. That's true.
But wait, no. A small seething political class. You're right, but it's not the way you're saying it.
Humans continue to defy and surpass traditional norms and categories. Companies seek... Okay, this is where it gets really weird because there's a whole nother side to this one. Companies seeking to maximize profit cater to as many of them as possible.
No, they're not. That's why I got them in trouble in the first place.
Yeah, you're actually alienating at least half the country with your bullshit when you give any kind of political statement. The joke nowadays is the right is cutting ties with... This reminds me of the kid that's crying. Like, how are you? I'm fine. The joke nowadays is that the right is cutting ties with so many brands, they'll eventually have to go back to...
Some people, it doesn't involve a piece of wood, a bunch of dirt thrown on it, and then you sit there and can't wait for the food to grow in a few hours.
And there's always My Patriot supply for when the cataclysm comes. You've got plenty of canned food. You can...
But again, they just keep trying to spin it as it's a black and white situation. That it's just one group is this, one group's that. It's like, but it's not. That's the thing. There's a lot of people who lean left who think you're full of shit. There's a lot of people who lean right who think you're full of shit. The normies are in the middle. The extremists are the outliers. And this whole idea that everybody who disagrees with Rolling Stone is white, straight, and male is fucking stupid. Just like thinking everybody who agrees with, the people that were playing Call of Duty are, white, straight, and male. It's just dumb.
I mean, a lot of them are.
A lot of them are, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, it's just like, it's ridiculous. I mean, this whole thing this is basically Rolling Stone looking for a reason to get the Gamergate thing in there, because I think these people know, because I know what...
Who wrote this shit?
This is
Miles Klee. Since we're allowed to name drop people, Miles Klee wrote this shit.
Well, Miles Klee is going to be out of a job pretty soon because this company is not doing good. The owner of Rolling Stone is not doing good. They're doing pretty bad, actually. It's I think it's Penske Media. Yeah, I covered this briefly. They own the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, and they're having a massive... They're like, guys, we own websites too, and I'm telling you, and I'm not blowing this out of proportion, ad rates are about a fifth of what they were. Yeah, I mean, it's
bad.
It's bad. And the margins were pretty slim before because they were overpaying a lot of their employees. So 17,000 people have been laid off in media this year. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry, you might be next, Miles. So you better get some clicks rolling in the Rolling Stone.
That's what he's trying to do.
That's what this is all about. You're going to see, and I said this before, you're going to see some really weird stuff happen with journalists over the next couple of months because they are panicked. They are panicking because they know they're probably going to lose their jobs and there's no coming back, because the future going forward isn't going to be getting some cushy job working for some outlet like Rolling Stone. Do it all yourself.
Grow your own vegetables.
Grow your own vegetables.
Of which I know how to do both. And I'm also not a Republican. So, you know.
You're going to have to learn how to grow your own food, grow your own audience. You're not going to be able to go to the grocery store that is Rolling Stone and get yourself a cushy job and park it there.
All these people that want to do this and use this as a platform to spew their opinions, which it's okay when they do. They didn't build anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're good at destroying, but they built nothing.
You're going to destroy these websites, and there's not going to be anything left. You're going to poison the well. So anyway, there we go, guys. Gamergate's back again for the 19th time. They're going to be talking about, I swear to God, they're going to be talking about Gamergate in like 2062, writing from a nursing home and being like, I remember when Gamergate cost me my job because after I worked for a journalist for 3 years, I got fired and I never got another job again.
They'll find another gate. It'll be like Mediagate or Gategate.
Or Gategate. I can't wait for Gategate.
Right. We're just going to go to the source and call it Gategate and then be done with it. Because there's always a gate. Because then they have Comicsgate now and all this other. It's always a gate of some kind.
Always a gate. All right. Are we going to wrap this up?
Yes.
There's always another gate. It's like there's always another rainbow. There's always another gate.
You can't say there's always another rainbow.
Uncle Scrooge said there's always another rainbow.
Well, see, rainbows, you're not allowed to say that now because you're Gamergate because they said so, and that means you're anti-LGBTQ, and only they are allowed to invoke rainbows.
Oh, God, they own the rainbows now, right? Okay, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.